Hi. I would like to speak about the Earth Day. When I was Semke and I had the opportunity to go to Spokane to attend the Earth Day ritual there. It happened at the tribal gathering place next to Spokane City Hall. Beautiful place. Faith leaders and leaders of conscience, such as the Spokane River Keepers, the 350 Spokane, met on April 22nd for this Earth Day ritual, and the theme was for the healing of the earth. And Mama Semke and I met many groups, many people. We had the opportunity to listen to their reports about their work in the last years, and we shared our own experiences, for example, with the smelter activities we are doing here, working against the smelter. And we also encouraged each other to support each other to continue on this specific path. So this meeting occurs every 6 months. And the idea is to care for the planet across all cultures, nationalities, religions, non-religions, and so to bring awareness and to support environmental protection. And I would like to go back a little bit about what's Earth Day and how that has been established. I myself, since I did not grow up in the US, I, for example, did not know that it was initiated in the US about 50 years ago. So the founder is Gaylord Nelson, and then he was a senator from Wisconsin, who, after he witnessed a massive oil spill in Santa Barbara in California in 1969, he felt a strong urge to engage the public in a greater awareness of air and water pollution. And so he used the momentum. There was, I think, also a lot of action going on regarding the Vietnam War. And so he used the energy of that time to initiate a movement. And he gathered 85 staff members to promote events to bring awareness on environmental pollution to the world across the land. So on April 22nd in 1970, 20 million Americans demonstrated in whole America. So 20 million, they thought, wow, 1970. They gathered in streets and parks and auditoriums and thousands of colleges and universities who participated, organized protests against the destruction of environment. So on this first Earth Day had led to the creation of the United States Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, and the passages of the Clean Water and Endangered Species Acts. And then in 1990, this movement organized a bigger campaign reaching about 200 million people worldwide in 141 countries. And then now Earth Day is the largest movement in the world, with more than 190 countries participating, with more than 1 billion people involved. So it's good, something to bring to our awareness. And Margaret Mead, an American anthropologist and promoter of Earth Day, said in 1977 in front of the United Nations, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world." And she continued in 1978, I was just 1 year old at that time, she said, "Earth Day is the first holy day which transcends all national borders, yet preserves all geographical integrities, spans mountains and oceans and time belts, and yet brings people all over the world into one resonating accord, is devoted to the preservation of the harmony in nature, and yet draws upon the triumphs of technology, the measurements of time and instantaneous communication through space." 1978. Back then we even did not have internet, so she was quite foresighted. Back to the participation on Earth Day, where I went with Anna Semke. We presented the Abbey and also just participated as witness, basically. We learned a lot from our surrounding communities, their work, their struggles. We encouraged and thanked them, as mentioned. And one woman stood out for me, especially. Her name is Deb Abra Maassen. And Deb is a Native American. She founded the Shoal Society in '94. Does anybody here know? The Shoal, Shawl, Shoal. Sorry. So she educates people and advocates for cleanup of radioactive material and toxic waste in the Spokane Indian Reservation. There have been several mining companies that opened in the 70s. I think there are still a couple going. And they did not necessarily clean up after themselves. So a lot of toxic waste and nuclear waste has been found their source or their place in the ground. And for example, the Midnight Mine is about 45 minutes from Spokane. It's located on an Indian reservation. They dug so deep that they hit the ground and contaminated the water and grounds with radioactive material and heavy metals. And the water ran into the Chimakine Creek and Blue Creek to the Spokane River, which is used for recreation, fishing and farming. So till today, every week, Deb Abra Maassen said that 1 to 2 young and old members of this community dies due to cancer, heart disease, or kidney disease. And she herself has cancer in stage 4. So now Deb and her daughter collect data on the deaths of their communities and hope to bring urgent awareness to this matter. Therefore, I request all of you to keep her in her prayers and the communities around. So learning about the devastating effects of mines on the environment and living beings, I think strongly that we have to support these groups. We have to continue to speak up and to show up. And in the light of the smelter plans that are planned for this area here, also I think it will never occur, but we already do a lot of good work. We attend all meetings we can attend. We fight to the politicians and be visible in meetings. Yeah. And I think this engagement in environmental protection really is in line with our daily aspirations, where we say that we want to benefit all sentient beings and we don't want to harm any sentient being. Therefore, I think environmental protection, social engagement is part of that. And so we can't just sit on a cushion and separate our meditation practice from societal environmental issues. So I would like to encourage everybody here and our listeners from afar so to attend any Earth Day in the future. Next year is the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. So, and in Idaho on October 6th at the Cataldo mission in Cataldo, there will be the next Earth Day vigil in this area. So if you can join, it's good to be connected and support our surrounding communities and to prevent further damage to our environment and all living beings surrounding.